Welcome to Sister Scoop, where we are giving you guys the top 3 Marvel news topics of the week. We're going to get right into the first one, which is kind of looking at some Doomsday Young Avengers rumors, which are not new. Well, these are new, but they've been circulating for a while.
Yeah, I think we've all kind of been wondering, when are we going to get the Young Avengers since we have so many of them that were champions, since we have so many of them that have been introduced. But the latest rumor is that they will have a role. The article that I was reading put it kind of similar to Ant-Man in Endgame. So if you guys are unfamiliar with kind of the storyline of Secret Wars, it is that there is a group of heroes that is kind of saved from being in Battle World, like under the spell of Battle World, essentially, and they kind of know who Doom really is, not this god that he presents himself to be. So the article that I was reading was kind of positing, hey, maybe instead of that particular group of characters who are going to be the ones who are going to save the day, in essence, it's actually going to be the Young Avengers who are the ones that are going to kind of let everyone know, like, hey, this isn't true reality. This isn't right. We have to do something here.
Yeah, I like this rumor because I think, to your point, we've been asking a lot of these questions already about, like, when are they coming in? We've been kind of seeing them we've been seeing them show up, but now it's kind of the question of, we've only scratched the surface of them teaming up and coming together. So yeah. I do think we've done episodes about when are they coming in and where we think they make the most sense. I think this would be a great place to kind of bring them in, especially because if they're meant to be kind of the next gen of Avengers, because we are moving into the mutant saga. I mean, I actually really at this point wouldn't be that against them being kind of our prime Avengers eventually, because I'm more worried about the mutants. I think most people are. So I do think, kind of having them as your main Avengers team for a while actually would work. But I think this is kind of that stepping stone. I think it would be it's really like that's the moment to prove themselves as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like I would hate to see all this work that's been done to set these characters up, whether it's a mantle passing or just having them on screen, be for nothing. And I think the longer it goes, the less people are interested in the characters because it's been so long
for sure
since we've seen them. But 2, then it just becomes kind of like, oh, you should have done this like years ago. And now you're trying, to your point, to fit them into a mutant saga. Like, I think we could have, I know we still haven't gotten Speed yet, but we could have really started assembling more than just Kate and Kamala years ago. And yet here we are, only 2 of them are even talking. So I don't know. I would hate to waste it. So find a smart way to do it. I don't know if it's this moment. I also don't know that I'm ready for them to be the full Avengers, because I am still going for Avengers versus X-Men. Like, that's the storyline that I want them to culminate the next saga with. And that's not going to have the same level of like gravitas as if it's the kiddos versus like the actual Avengers.
Yeah, but hot take, like, the only way I think I would have genuinely enjoyed that storyline was with like our OG Avengers team.
Yeah, but I also think we haven't had enough time to see the current Avengers, because we don't really even know like who's the, like, we have Sam's version and we have the new Avengers. We don't even have like one cohesive team. So we haven't had the time to like build the, like, not credibility, but we haven't gotten used to them as a team. Like, one of the things we loved about the original Avengers is that they had those like funny and like odd interactions with one another, and you could see that they were building bonds. We haven't gotten there yet with the 2 Avengers teams we have, and however they're going to intermix whenever Doomsday and Secret Wars are done. So I wouldn't like, I would just hold out yet until we kind of see how those relationships blossom and how we get to see a more cohesive unit, hopefully in the future.
All right, fine. We'll hold off as you're saying. Our next topic, this is good news as far as I'm concerned, but I'm forgetting the character that he was supposed to play. Stephen Yeun is still interested in an MCU role. I know you know exactly the role he was supposed to be in, but I'm blanking on it. I can picture it, but I can't remember the name.
He was going to be Sentry before Lewis Pullman took over the role. He had Steven had some scheduling conflicts, which is why he had to pull out of the role. And then obviously we know Lewis took over, did a great job. And Steven has basically said recently, hey, like, I would definitely be down to be in the MCU, or I think he said like, you never know is kind of the wording he used or something similar. He said that, I don't know if everybody is aware, but he had worked with Jake Schreier in the past. I think overall it was just one of those like inevitable things where schedules move, people, aren't able to do things that they had previously committed to, whatever. But I'm glad to hear that there's no like, negative feelings, that he'd be open to doing something in the future. He's from a lot of people know him from, what's that one zombie show that everybody really liked, The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I personally never watched that show, but I know a lot of people really liked him from that. So would be curious, see what kind of roles he could potentially be a fit for in the MCU, but definitely an actor that I think we should all keep our eyes on because he's clearly still interested. And that's, I think, a very exciting update.
Yeah, and I mean, we do have the Mutant Saga next, and that has a lot of open roles as of right now. And it doesn't need to be in the actual mutant, like the X-Men team. We obviously have the opportunity to have a lot of different characters pop up throughout that entire saga, some of which we've seen in live action, some of which we've seen in X-Men 97, some of which I'm sure we haven't seen at all. So I do think there's a lot of opportunity just coming up that I could see him fitting into a lot of different roles. I only stray from the X-Men team because we don't really know age-wise how they're going to go. But
yeah,
there's still a lot of open roles and opportunities that are coming up in Marvel. So it's nice to know that he would come if there's the right one for him again.
Yeah, for sure.
And lastly, I'm really glad that... So T sends me all of these beforehand, and I'm glad in this case she said it because for some reason I get this guy's name wrong every single time, and I don't know why. I think I just like combine names. But Mike Colter is talking about his return to the MCU. Obviously, Luke Cage, we kind of already know all about how that's going to play out, as we have Jessica Jones coming in Daredevil now season 2, which is right around the corner.
Yeah, he was recently on a podcast, and I'm going to quote here because I love this quote because it's so definitive. I do think it's very, very likely that I will come back. Also, a side note, the podcast that he was on is the guy who played Lex Luthor on Smallville. So I love how there's just like this crazy like superhero community thing. I mean, he interviews a lot of people. He's got his own show, but I just love that little tidbit that he's like out here telling Lex Luthor like, yeah, I'm probably coming back. We've talked about this before. I think nobody's really surprised, but honestly, it's just nice to have him continuing to say that, he's having these conversations with Marvel. I personally think he's not going to have as big a role as Jessica in season 2, but I think he's going to be in season 2
I think
for
he's
sure.
in it. Yeah.
I had forgotten about this, even though we did a lot of the Mayor Kingpin research. So that's something that I will be re-listening to prior to Daredevil. But he runs against Kingpin as mayor. So
I do remember
about that. He is definitely pretty required for what is happening. I think I also read somewhere that they're likely going to be wrapping up the Mayor Kingpin storyline in season 2 of Daredevil, and that they're going to, continue forward in season 3, because that is already confirmed, with a different storyline, which I think is smart. I think you can only draw out, this particular era, if you will, for a certain amount of time. And I think 2 seasons is a perfect amount to tell the story really well, dive into it, and then be able to wrap it up and send the characters in a new direction moving forward. So yeah, all that to say, I definitely think Luke and Mike Colter will be in season 2 to some sort of degree, yet TBD.
Yeah, I mean, I agree fully. I think we thought that as soon as the season ended, and then we got the confirmation that obviously Jessica Jones was coming back. So I don't think she goes very far without Luke, if I'm being honest.
At least I hope not. Let them actually be in love this time.
I know.
Please.
Well, that's my point, though. That's my point. So I'm like, I'm hoping they actually let that kind of come to fruition a little bit more. So I think, I'm hoping season 2 we get to see a little bit of an appearance, and it would be kind of cool if they play out that Mayor Kingpin storyline directly, fully. I think that would be kind of
characters,
cool.
And they're really well received. Like if you think about who you've got on the board right now, people love this iteration of Kingpin. Like, there's a reason he's been doing this for like a really long time.
Yeah,
people love this iteration of Luke Cage. They're very well received. You'd be dumb not to take advantage of what you've got available to you right now in terms of the talent to do that storyline. Like, hello, what are we doing here?
Hey, I agree. All right, friends, that has been this week's Sister Scoop. Make sure you guys are joining us again next week as we cover 3 more Marvel news topics. And on the podcast side, as we kind of already said, Daredevil is right around the corner. So make sure you guys are kind of getting ready. If you're trying to do rewatches, make sure you're doing those, because we really only have like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So
2 weeks from today. From when we're recording
crazy.
This, at least.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, it's like literally around the corner, and we will be covering every bit of it. So make sure you guys are checking us out on that side as well. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.